Hello and welcome to the channel, everyone. Today I wanted to film my reaction to a video by Shelby Church, a channel that I watch all the time. So she made a video about how much money her Airbnb made its first month. But first, let's watch a little bit of it.
After a year of renovations and getting things ready, we finally got this Palm Springs house live on Airbnb and are able to see how much it's making.
So just a little side note first, I lived in California for 20 years, and just her talking about Palm Springs brings bad memories. But anyway, let me make a long story short. She claims that her house rents out for $700 a month.
You're probably adding this up and being like, whoa,
Here are her bookings, right?
like, is this like $20,000 that you made? And there are a lot of Airbnb fees.
Anyway, let's skip to this part. Her earnings for 2 nights are $1,400, so $700 a night. But there's a little discrepancy. Here's a Airbnb website for Palm Springs, all right? And I put in March 1 to 1 to 3. The prices for Airbnbs in Palm Springs, and this is entire place, are not anywhere near $700 a month. I don't know what she's talking about, to tell you the truth. The actual Airbnb rentals they range from $245, from $178 to about $364. I would say the average is maybe $300. There's only one $700 rental, and it's not them, it's like another person. So where exactly did she get 700? I don't even know. We can change, for example, even if we select Friday to Sunday, all right, and so if we select Friday to Sunday, the prices do go up a little bit, but I don't know. Well, I guess maybe she talked about 700 being only the weekend rentals. So she fudged it up a little bit. I think, it's only weekends. And even weekends, for example, here's a house for 190, 420. Well, there is one for 991, but there's also, a pool house for 509, 377, and, 400 and 571. I think this 571 house looks better than her house. Look at this. This is a mansion. I mean, her house does not look like this, right? So mansions rent out for 700 a day, you know? So I'm kind of disappointed in Shelby because I thought that her blog was, somewhat really honest. I think she overstated her earnings by quite a bit because, the houses that rent out for 700, these are like mansion types of houses, I don't think that, I mean, this thing rents out 1,500, but you're not going to rent it out every month, and I think March is the top season. In the summer it gets really hot, and I doubt that, I mean, I don't know, but there's another issue here. The issue is this: California is a completely toxic place, and when you get an Airbnb in California, you're going to have to deal with local California authorities, and all Airbnbs get a license, a short-term rental license, which she did not talk about at all. Where is the discussion about the short-term renting license, and where is the discussion on the rental license fees? She didn't go over those fees, like they don't exist. And secondly, these licenses can be taken away. I've read all kinds of stories about licenses, short-term rental license being taken away because they understand they're valuable, like a taxi medallion in New York, and they could take it away at any time. For example, they could say, oh, there's way too many short-term rentals in Palm Springs, you're not getting your license, and then your rental dies. Also, let's say she's completely dependent on Airbnb for income, completely. Let's say something happens to her Airbnb account, and these accounts get canceled all the time. Like, for example, I used to have an Amazon and eBay account. Both those accounts were canceled by eBay and Amazon for nothing. And then your mortgage in your house goes bye-bye because you're not going to be able to rent any longer. You know, here she talks about pool rental prices, which are absolutely, like, everything in California is an absolutely insane price, especially fixing or anything.
Is on heating the pool. Other times of the year, it's not this expensive, which is why I didn't realize it was going to be quite this much. So the total was $913.
Okay, so just for heating a pool, it's $100 a day. Well, how nice is that? I mean, that's just a nice little expense for you right there.
Our house, but I do think compromising at $75 to $100 is going to be.
Basically, I think that she is giving way too good of a picture here, you know. As a landlord in California, I've had experience with California. California is a crap hole of gigantic proportions, and dealing with local California authorities, taxes, permits is a nightmare, you know. I feel that this thing has a very high risk. It's dependent on a short-term rental license. Firstly, it's dependent on Airbnb. All kinds of things could go wrong. She has a huge mortgage on it, and if she can't pay the mortgage, the house gets foreclosed upon. And I can tell you, after dealing with California authorities, that these people are very mean, and they will take a short-term rental license away like nothing. They will do it easily. They will give you tickets, all kinds of things, you know. And I don't know, like, it's just a bit suspicious for me when people are paying $525 a month, a day, really.
For our first month was $2,665. So this was really our first month that didn't make even.
This is what I was wondering. California is known for its huge poverty and bums. How do people get $500 a day to spend on an Airbnb in Palm Springs? I mean, there is nothing to do in Palm Springs. I can assure you, as a 20-year California resident, I would not go to Palm Springs for free. It's a freaking desert. There's nothing to do there at all. It's the same as living in like Orange County. I don't understand why someone would rent, someone from like LA or Orange County or any part of Southern California would go and rent a house in Palm Springs in the desert for $500 to $700 a day. What are these people smoking? Holy crap. I mean, I can tell you that the only place that's remotely like kind of worth it to go to is Las Vegas, you know, and Palm Springs is not Las Vegas. And I feel that this video is a bit deceiving to people, where it describes this thing as a money-making machine, and I think there is more problems behind it all than people realize. Oh, and also let's discuss the problem with tenants, because there's all kinds of problems with evictions, tenants. What happens if an Airbnb tenant decides to not leave the house? She's going to have an eviction on her hands. And there's so many trashy people there that's it's a very easy alternative. People might trash her house. There can be huge cleanup. I know this because my dad had Airbnbs there, and he sold them because he couldn't handle all the crap from tenants, and the money that he made barely covered his mortgage. His Airbnbs were in Big Bear, also supposedly touristy area, kind of like Palm Springs, and it wasn't worth it at all. And here she describes making all this money, $500 to $700 a day consistently. It's very, very difficult to believe. Here, let's look at this Airbnb, which is absolutely beautiful, right? Look at this thing. This is amazing. This costs $500 a night, which is less than her place. And look at the bookings. For March, they have 2 bookings. For April, 3 bookings. Well, it's already almost March, you know. February, they're somewhat Also, they even have February free. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 is available. I mean, this place has a vacancy rate of like 90%, you know? Let's look at, I mean, this thing is ridiculous. Look at this thing. 3 reviews, you know nobody's renting that. 6 reviews, you know nobody's renting that. Now this place is pretty popular, 49 reviews, Superhost. $1,200 a night? Who has that type of money? Also, March is pretty much free. This place rents for maybe a week per month. They've just been doing it for a while. 64 reviews. 82 reviews. The Wesley Suite. Their, you know, vacancy rates are all pretty high, I think. Look at this thing. Also, from 14 to 3 March is maybe half full, but this thing is cheap. It's $400. April is somewhat full, so maybe like, you know, 50% vacancy rate. What does it look like? God, who would pay $400 a night for this thing? Only in California do people do that. It's just a regular freaking house in the middle of Palm Springs. Is this absolute insanity? Where's the map for this place? Okay. Okay, what's around this place? There is some kind of a desert. This is like a golf course. It's just in the middle of a freaking neighborhood. It is freaking nuts. I'm sorry. I'm so glad I don't live there. Where I live right now, you can rent an Airbnb in the middle of Moscow for like $50 a night. And you're gonna be in the middle of freaking Moscow for $50 a night. And here you're gonna be in the middle of bum dirty California for $500 a night. You have to be nuts to do this. That's just my reaction to this.